Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, Bisi Akpaida, on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it. It's another wonderful edition of your number one developmental program on AIT, that's the African Independent Television, here in Benin City. And I'm sure you've been having a wonderful day. Yes, we have been here, trying to do the best we can, especially, in these very difficult times. Also want to use the opportunity to appeal to our youths out there in Edo State, take it easy, crime pays nobody. And well, we started with NSAS. Now I don't know hashtag what we're going to be saying right now with all of the looting and stealing and, the alleged cult rivalry that we've seen in Edo State. Well, we're on to issues that has to do with development. And we're here discussing issues that have to do with development today, especially with regards to civil society and their role in the society, how they can assist and, support in ensuring that we have a better society. I have a guest, God's Power Okumbo, the former Secretary General for Edo Civil Society here in Nigeria. And he'll be joining us very soon on the program. Don't go nowhere, stay tuned. I am Bisi Akpaida. We'll be right back after the break. Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, Bisi Akpaida, on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it. Well, you're welcome back. Like I said before we went on that break, that we have God's Power Okumbo, and he will be telling us more about development and issues of governance with regards to civil society and how we can make Edo State and Nigeria a better place. Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, Bisi Akpaida, on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it.
My name is Comrade God's Power Okumbo. I am the immediate past Secretary General of Edo Civil Society Organizations. Well, Edo Civil Society Organizations is a network of civil society groups. There are so many civil society organizations, up to 13 in numbers, that's under Edo Civil Society Organizations. And mine is the Achievers. We promote good governance, social justice, and human rights. Yes, as citizens who love good governance, we contribute in our own quota to assist our government in bringing about good or the dividends of democracy to the people. So yes, at Edo Civil Society Organizations, some of the struggles or the things we have actually embarked on, briefly that of the tariff for the discos. You are aware that the Benin Electricity Distribution Company, BEDC, is the one in charge of Edo and other 3 states in Nigeria. And yes, following the Power Reform Act, the laws that brings about the discourse, we realize that before they should increase tariff, they must put major necessities in place. That means adequate electricity, and citizens must have meters. So I'm just bringing in this to let you know some of these fights in our own capacity, what we afford to make sure the people enjoy. So at a time in 2016, there was something that is called fixed charge. About 750 naira is being charged by this discourse to citizens to pay for not having light even. So we fought it, and that was removed. And till now, we are still making effort to see that citizens are only charged for the power that they actually consume. So that's part of some of the fight we have fought to see that citizens enjoy what they need to as citizens of this country. So in Edo Civil Society Organization, it's all about promoting good governance, social justice, and human rights for all citizens. There are so many fights we have fought for Edo people, because, like I said, the motto that is driving us as a movement is to promote good governance, social justice, and human rights. So yes, some of the highlight of what we have done, like that of the BBC I have rightly mentioned, we have also, with time, the brutality of army on citizens. We have also talked about it. Several times we have wrote to the 4th Mechanized Brigade Commander, we have hit the street, and of course citizens has even enjoyed the beating by way of getting compensation. We have done that. We have continued to visit our people and making them understand that during election they only have one choice to make, they only have one decision to take, and they must remember that their vote is their right, that they don't need to actually sell it. So all of this and many more we have done and we have been doing to see that citizens and government and the round table of understanding and what is meant for our government to do for citizens, they are doing it. The citizens in their own part, because like people will always say, we are not just all about talking to government, reminding them of what they are supposed to do all alone. We are also reminding citizens that it is their responsibility to pay their taxes, to be law-abiding, and we have continued to do this so that our people will be at their best at all times, while we keep asking government to do what is expected of them. For me, government has not been fair. We are almost saying government is fair, but I will leave one reason why I said so for the other segment. Now, looking at what happened recently that provoked the youth to embark on a protest that is titled EndSARS. Yes, EndSARS. We expected the federal government to quickly respond to issues, in terms of addressing the country. But we waited, I think, for a very long time before Mr. President could speak out. These are many reasons why what we expected is not what we are seeing. One would have said the government of Nigeria is trying, looking at some of the policy they are putting in place, some of the steps they are taking to see that the country is going on peacefully. But looking again at the attitude they responded to issues, will say it's unfortunate. So to me, the government of Nigeria, what I expected from them is not really what I'm saying. When we keep talking about government is not fair to the people, I mean it, and I know what I'm talking about. I told you that they said Nigerian youth are lazy youth. But one would have thought that before you say somebody is lazy, it's when you have tried to give that person opportunity to work and the person refuses to work, or he tried to work and is not actually delivering. That That is what one can say it's lazy. Our government in Nigeria are not responding to at least providing the enable environment for citizens or youth to work. They have not provided work per se. Yes, we keep hearing it on news, we keep hearing it on radio, we keep hearing it on places that, that there is work. But we are at the grassroots. I can tell you here categorically that there is no work. There is no work. In the whole of recruitment, I think the police, some security agents are recruiting. Go and look at the expected, what they actually are using to recruit officers. So go for. There's no enable environment even. Because I believe that if there's enable environment, citizens, the youth of Nigeria can do something for themselves. We will see people coming out to say they are doing POS, there are some mini businesses people are responding to. That is because they really want to work. But most of them don't have what it takes to start it. Our government should wake up. Our government, not only creating the enable environment, should provide for citizens who cannot afford for themselves to start up. So in terms of providing work or making vacancies, the government have not really responded to that actually in that regard. Yes, in terms of development, the federal government has come up with so many programs, but it is quite unfortunate that none of them has really provided the main what will really answer to development in our society. Take, for example, when we are talking about development, the necessary amenities that government should respond to. First is good roads, electricity, shelter, health care, and many others. And may I tell you here that government has not responded to all of this. Roads, for instance, we have so many federal roads through Edo State. All the federal roads, it's a shame that Nigeria cannot boast of any good federal road, especially from Benin that I am now. If you are going to Delta, no way. If you are going to Abuja, no way. Now, the last time I traveled to Abuja, before now, you can boldly say, yes, I will get to Abuja by 1 or 2, meet me in so place. If you are leaving Benin by 7, yes, it's possible. But now it's not anymore. If you are leaving Benin to Abuja, even though you are leaving by 4 a.m., you must get to Abuja by 4 p.m. because we don't have good federal road anymore. All the road is down. Our government who flies on aeroplane, who flies on private jet, they don't care about these things because that is what poor men, that is what Nigerians who cannot afford tickets can afford. It is only to get the bus, to get the little 6,000, 7,000 to Abuja that they can afford. So big men who are not using this, they don't care about the road anymore. It's unfortunate. We are not begging government because we are asking them to do what they are not supposed to do for us. We are asking them to do it because that is a responsibility. The minute you become a governor, the minute you become a president, the minute you are holding any political office, you hold the responsibility to make the necessities available for citizens who need it to actually live their lives. We are talking about roads. What about healthcare? In terms of development, when we are talking of development, roads, healthcare, like I mentioned, power, many of them are what government is supposed to provide for their citizens. Almost all the communities now, I can tell you that there's no good healthcare. That's why even in our villages now, if anybody is sick, they will have to get a car and bring the person down to town, where we can managely have healthcare to take care of ourselves. But it is not so. That is not how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to have healthcare at the grassroots, where the people can get direct access to it. So please, if there's going to be development in our country, our government must start putting these necessities in place. They must be sure that there is adequate facility, healthcare facility for our people. There's good roads. There's water. education system. All of these things is in place so that the people in turn can enjoy the governance that they have given power to actually rule over them.
Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, BC Akpaida, on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it. You're welcome back from that break. You're still on to Issues and Tissues on African Independent Television. Yes, let's listen to our guest and hear more about what he has to say to us. Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, BC Akpaida, on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it.
Well, here in Edo, I can categorically say that for the first 4 years, because we are almost transmitting into a new administration now, though it's still continuing, but for now, it's new. For the past 4 years, the government, the administration who has been, I would say, if you want to ask me, I can say 70%. Because some of the things as civil society practitioner that we have been trying, that we have been emphasizing on, some of them we have been seeing some little change. The Governor Obaseki, has decided to listen to the people, to us, because some of the calls we have made to the government, some, not all, I must tell you the truth here, they have responded well. Some of the calls, they have responded well. In terms of, good governance in Edo State. A few I can mention the ICT program. If not, I have a very close relation who, after his final year in school, he went to the ICT. He said he wanted to learn this solar, and he went there. He came back with so many tools. He said after the governor came, they empowered some of them, and I said, okay, and this guy is just on his own. He's not in the civil society, he's nowhere. He just left school and he said he wanted to go and apply for this government program, and he did it. It was free. Well, I said, okay, that means it's really working. And I've gone through some of the public offices. I've seen what the administration is doing. So to me, this administration, we don't know for the next 4 years. So, but I'm going to draw agenda of my own, what we are expecting. But for the past 4 years, they have made attempts. To really, respond to the issues that is on ground in Edo State. Thank you. Well, for the Edo State governorship election, that was just concluded in September 19th. I have many things to say, but brief, just to thank Edo people first that they are peaceful. One would have expected them to be to be something else. But I was on the field that very day. I came out. I saw how the people have decided. They take a decision, I must tell you the truth. Because you see the old school. Few people have decided this way, many others have decided this way, and they stood their ground. I think that is what we expect from our people part time as we go further. together, So the election, I observed there was peaceful atmosphere, and the people make it to be so. Because before we have a series of violent clashes and what have you, but none of them took. Even when some persons try to or want to bring about this violent and what have you, some persons will still go back and say, no, we don't want it, this is our area. In short, some persons take the responsibility to stand and say, this is my unit, it must be peaceful. So I thank Edo people for that, and I must tell you, the election was indeed peaceful. Even though we know, as usual in Nigeria, so many things may want to play, but it was peaceful at the end of the day. In terms of touching the grassroots, like I started with, I said the government made attempts to respond to the issues that the people has put in, and in touching the grassroots, yes, I will say, I don't want to say yes, I don't want to say no. The government has made attempts. Yes, they have made attempt to touch the grassroots. Now, I'll give an example. When we're talking about touching the grassroots, we're talking about governments coming to the people in terms of issues and asking them, taking opinions from them. That is what government means. In section 14 of the 1999 Constitution, it said, section 14(2), that the people shall be part of their governance. That means it's trying to explain to us that they should be involved. So government as a governor, government as a local government chairman, government as a House of Assembly member representing one constituency or the other, you must not take decision on your own. You must fall back to the people in terms of getting feedback from them to say, what do we do? So on that level, yes, the government has made attempt. Like this EndSARS protest that actually came up, I was there, I received an invitation from the government. The governor particularly, I said, let's sit and talk the way forward. What can we do? So those are part of the things the government should be doing to carry the people along. And yes, we went there, the governor was there, the deputy and another person, the secretary to the state government. We sat down, we brainstormed, we talked about issues. The only time we will not be happy is when you called us, we discuss, we brainstorm, and at the end of the day, you will not use some of our input. But I don't see this government to be that one. So the government is making an attempt also in touching the grassroots. First is to congratulate the governor who, in face of so many challenges, election as it is in our country, he came out victorious. Well, it's a victory for the people, it's a victory for him. I want to advise the governor, because during campaign we hear so many things. But in all, the governor should make sure everything he has promised Edo people, he must respond to all of them. That's a government. If you have said you are going to make this, you are going to make that, make sure exactly what you have said is what you are going to do. So I want to advise the governor to stand by his words, and aside that, to make sure in this second term, you should really look at education. I have visited some public schools. It's unfortunate, there's no good classrooms. I've visited, not this one, they are fencing everywhere. Go inside. The classroom, there's no, even the ground is sand. Children are sitting on the ground. The roof is leaking. If there's rain, then they are on their own. So many unfortunities is happening right there. So I want to advise Mr. Governor to make sure he visit the education system of the state and put things in order. At least you start with that in this second term. Education, you should start with that. That's my advice to the governor. Thank you. Well, my advice to the general public, especially in Edo State, I know many of them are expecting the government to start responding to issues, to start doing this. Yes, we too. But first, we must give them time. The government is coming in. They have to sit up. They have to start putting things, agenda. Let me call it agenda. say this is what we are looking at, this is what we're going to do. So please, our people, to be patient with the government while we are waiting for them to start responding to issues. One, but another thing, so our people to be law-abiding. Generally, if we want our government to respond to issues, we want good governance, we must be good citizens in the other hand. So be law-abiding. You know so many things to be law-abiding. Anything incriminating, we must not involve ourselves. We must learn to obey traffic and pay our taxes as we are supposed to, you know. So generally we should be patient with the government. We know definitely the time will come, we will also ask them how far. But for now, let's give them time to start work and do accordingly.
All right, you heard it all from Godspower Okumbo, the former Secretary General, Edo State Civil Society here in Nigeria. And well, crime pays nobody, like I said earlier on. We should all put our hands together to make sure Edo State is a better place, and let's support the government. Yes, in supporting the government, then we can all have better life. I'll be here with you again next week, same time, same station. My name remains BC Akwaida. Have a lovely time. Issues and Tissue, a contemporary magazine program that engages and discusses issues of development within and outside the state. The program brings to the fore ranging topics like education, politics, agriculture, just name it, while we examine the nitty-gritty of the issue in focus. Join me, BC Akwaida, on African Independent Television, AIT, for an exciting time. Issues and Tissue. If we can think it, we can discuss it.